Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Today we're going to talk about some of the many use cases for Bitcoin. As we have noticed over the last several months, and particularly over the past year, there are a lot of different institutions and platforms that are integrating Bitcoin into their services and products. So let's go ahead and get into it as usual with the cryptocurrency market update. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading at $101,844. It's down about 3.5% over the past 7 days. Ethereum is down 9% at $2,300. You have XRP is down 4%, BNB down 2.5%, Solana down 7%, Tron basically even. Dogecoin, the biggest meme coin of them all, currently down 13.6%, trading at around 15 cents. And then we have Cardano rounding out the top 10, down over 11%, trading at around 55 cents. So we've noticed over the past week or two, crypto has definitely taken a little bit of a correction. And obviously, in these type of markets, it's very volatile. You're going to have your ups and your down weeks. And as of this past week, or at least over the past 7 days, we're down a little bit. But I think as long as we stay above that psychological $100,000 level, we may not slide much more. But if we do continue to slide more, we'll have to look at the areas of support from the technical analysis. But still, at the end of the day, if you look at where Bitcoin was a year ago, it was around 61,000-ish or so. So we're still doing quite well when you look at Bitcoin from the long term. And a lot of times, as we talked about earlier in many other videos that we've done, is that you have to take a bird's eye view perspective a lot of times when it comes to investing in Bitcoin in particular, as well as some of these other cryptocurrencies as well. But you want to look at what is the returns that you're receiving year over year over an extended period of time, particularly when it comes to the Bitcoin cycle of 4 years, when we have mining rewards cut in half every 4 years. But as you have seen, if you look at the history of the chart, Bitcoin is one of the best performing assets since its inception. So we believe that it will continue to do very well, not quite as well as it did over the last 15, 16 years, but it definitely could still do and outperform some of the major indices. But obviously, you have to continue to do your research and make sure you allocate appropriately if you do decide to invest in cryptocurrencies. So let's go into some of the bigger news stories over the past week. We can see here that the Genius Act was just passed over the past week, which is a landmark stablecoin bill. So it passed through Senate. So now that it's passed through Senate, it has to go to the House of Representatives. And then once it's passed, and if it's passed, and it may go through different amendments and iterations in the House, once that happens, if that happens, then it can then go to the president to sign into law. And this is particularly important because stablecoins, which is using blockchain technology, is pegged 1-to-1, which basically means that, and as we mentioned in our video, I believe it was last week that we did completely dedicated to stablecoins, basically it's going to be a big part of just the cryptocurrency and digital asset industry because of the fact that it is using blockchain technology as the base layer. And there's a lot of advantages to using blockchain technology compared to traditional finance payment rails. One is that it's extremely fast. It's a lot faster than being able to wire money, for example, from one country to another when you're using Bitcoin and Bitcoin Lightning Network, or when you're using stablecoins. You can have that money transferred in moments, seconds. That money can be transferred from one country to another. Also, in many cases, it's extremely decentralized, similar to Bitcoin. Not all of them are. So obviously you have to do some research to determine which ones are more centralized than others. But you're using the blockchain where it's less likely to be hacked. And so far as we know, especially out of the major stable coins, none of them have been hacked up to this point in terms of the actual platform, the actual blockchain layer of something like a Tether or a USDC, for example. Those are the two largest stablecoin issuers currently. And so now that it's getting consideration in the United States, particularly on the federal level, to come into law, because now a lot of institutions and banks are interested in using this technology, this Genius Act is pivotal in giving the green light to these banks and other major institutions to use blockchain technology and to use stable coins. So as you can see here, just some of the bullet points: the Senate passed the Genius Act over the past week, and it is establishing a particular framework for stable coins. And a lot of it has to do with transparency, for example, of these issuers of stablecoins. And once again, when it comes to regulation with regards to the stock market, for example, there's certain disclosures and transparency that needs to be had for people and consumers who are interested in using these products. So putting it into law basically makes it regulated to where these issuers are going to have to abide by certain rules, particularly when it comes to being forthright in the business that they are running. Also, stablecoins have risen as popularity, as I talked about, and could dramatically transform the payment space. And here are a few things that they run down in this particular article regarding the act and how it paves a way for banks, fintech firms, and other big name retailers to issue their own stablecoin. So it's not just USDC or Tether. It can be other companies that have their own stablecoin if they want to keep that in their own ecosystem. For example, PayPal has PYUSD. And it's a stable coin running on the blockchain technology. And that is basically people who are using PayPal to pay for all different types of products and services. If they want to use the blockchain and use PYUSD, they can use that as opposed to using a Tether or USDC or some other stablecoin. PayPal is able to keep that in-house within their ecosystem. So we'll continue to keep tabs on what's going on with the Genius Act and see how far it goes and whether it will be enacted into law eventually over time. And it's right now looking like it could be sometime very soon. Also, one of the other big stories that came out over the past week is that Coinbase, which is the largest U.S. cryptocurrency exchange, they have partnered with Shopify, which is and if you consider Shopify, it's actually a commerce platform. So basically, I believe they are the largest online commerce platform where all different types of vendors from all over the world use this platform to be able to sell different products and services. And it's kind of like an easy plug and play type of model where it can basically create a platform, a commerce platform for you, designated the way that you choose and depending on your type of business. And it has all of the integrations with the different payment rails that you can use to have your buyers buy your products and services. So now that they are partnering with Coinbase, you are now going to be able to buy products and services from different Shopify vendors using cryptocurrency, and that is USDC. So once again, this is a stable coin, USDC. And so you can see here, Coinbase is partnering with Shopify to bring the future of commerce on chain. Beginning in June, consumers can pay with USDC on Base through Shopify Payments. Base is a blockchain base layer, and bringing on-chain payments to millions of storefronts. Together, we're building a new era for payments for a fast, low-cost, global on-chain product. So, as I mentioned before, blockchain technology and using these stable coins provide fast transfers. It's lower costs. Once again, if you compare it to wiring money, for example, it can be very expensive to do so. And also, you can have these funds transferred quickly, globally, on-chain using the blockchain technology. So there's more information here on Coinbase's website on their blog. You can have a better understanding of what's going on in terms of bringing commerce on-chain with Shopify. Block, which owns Square, they offer point of sale systems called POS systems for various vendors. So these are usually used by, for example, if you go into a store, you can see they have a point of sale system where you can pay using your credit card. And you can also see it with vendors, say like at festivals or farmers markets and things of that nature. Now they are rolling out Bitcoin payments, so people will be able to pay using Bitcoin. So you can see here last month, Block had announced that it will launch Bitcoin payments on Square, marking a significant milestone in making Bitcoin more accessible and usable. And so Square's new Bitcoin for Businesses offering will build upon its Bitcoin conversions feature, which was launched in 2024. Which allows qualified merchants to automatically convert a portion of their daily sales into Bitcoin. So this also could be an investment in some way for a lot of these vendors who do accept Bitcoin. So if they choose to accept Bitcoin, then they can also have a way to save in Bitcoin as well. So they can have that Bitcoin converted to US dollars, but also if they want to have a portion of it kept in Bitcoin, they can do so as well. So this is just another indication of the broad use of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as we continue to move into a more and more digital world. So it makes sense that we would have digital assets for a more digital world. Another use case and example of how Bitcoin is being used for payments, Steak and Shake, which is a large retail burger chain, they are now accepting Bitcoin via the Lightning Network across US locations. So I am not planning on spending my Bitcoin anytime soon because I still believe that it is a asymmetrical bet. So I will not be paying with Bitcoin anytime soon for a burger or fries, and for me it would just be fries. But I can understand how some people are interested in using Bitcoin and buying with Bitcoin. And this is another example of the many ways that Bitcoin can be used, and it can be used to buy food. So here you can see that this is an example of how to use the payment system there at Steak and Shake. So you can see at the top it said credit only, but now you can buy with Bitcoin. So all you do is you can use the QR code, and that will link up to your Bitcoin wallet, and you can pay using the Lightning Network. You can see how fast that went. So it's pretty easy and seamless. So this is just another way that you'll be able to use Bitcoin, be able to use the blockchain, and more of us are going to be coming on chain. So as we like to do, we like to talk about emerging markets and what's coming for us in the future. And we're seeing that the future is coming at us really quick. So make sure to continue to check us out here at Networkchain on X as well as on IG. And just a quick little moment to give a shout out to the Los Angeles Lakers. If you see here, the power of investing it's just incredible when you think about it. And it's one of the only ways, unfortunately, for many of us to be able to hold value, store value, and hopefully create more value. And investing has done wonders for many people in the world. And you can see here, for example, with the Lakers, the owner Jerry Buss bought the Los Angeles Lakers for $67.5 million in 1979, and 46 years later, the Lakers are being sold at a valuation of $10 billion. So that's over a 148x in under 50 years. So as you can see here, investing really does change things. So continue to keep it locked here on Networkchain. We'll be here every week as usual on YouTube and nearly every day on X and on IG. We look forward to linking up with you soon on the Networkchain. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.